Saber, let's talk about it. Not that Saber, this one. There's more to lighting things up than just making them glow. Shakespeare. What is up, yo? This is Gift speaking. Welcome to it. You are on the Gift Effects. So many great things can be said about Saber. They're raw, they're big teeth, how they hunt like to prey like mammoths, camels, and horses. Wait, hold up, wait, rewind. So many great things can be said about Saber. It's easy to use, it's from Video Copilot, meaning it instantly transforms any project for the better, and it's absolutely free. You don't have to pay anything for it. So if you're an After Effects user or motion designer and you don't have the Saber plugin installed on your computer, first of all, shame on you. Secondly, there's a link in the description. So check it out and go download the Saber plugin from the Video Copilot website for free. I think we can wait for a few minutes while you do that. So today we're gonna explore how Saber works. We're gonna check out some interesting techniques on how to get the best results out of it and hopefully learn some things along the way. Let's jump in. So here we are in After Effects, and the first thing I'm gonna do when I get there is to create a new composition, call that Saber, and then I'm gonna create a new solid, and we're gonna call that BG. That's gonna be our background, and then we're gonna create another solid layer in the name of our Saber. Yeah. So anyway, sorry about that bad joke. Yeah, so that's gonna be our Saber layer. And then what I'm gonna do is, if you go under Effects and Video Copilot, you'll see that there's the Saber plugin there. So you just pop that on there, boom, and then it appears on your screen. So right off the bat, just wanna briefly explain what the Saber plugin is. So what it does is it allows you to use some glowing effects. It allows you to use some hazy effects. So this is loosely based on the idea of the saber in Star Wars, the lightsabers and everything in Star Wars. So as you can see, it kind of resembles somebody's lightsaber in Star Wars. I don't know who. Either whether it's Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader or somebody, I don't know, somebody's lightsaber. So anyway, this is what this plugin is loosely based on. It's loosely based on the idea of Star Wars, and it allows you to create some realistic light fall offs, some energy beams, kind of effects like that to kind of emulate the realistic kind of energy effects, but to kind of emulate those energy effects that you see in movies, and you can create portals with this thing, neon lights and things like that. So it's a really nifty plugin. All of this stuff wasn't kind of possible before, but thanks to the guys at Video Copilot having created this plugin, all of those things now are possible. So right off the bat, when you install the plugin, you get a whole bunch of presets that come pre-installed with this plugin. So there's a whole bunch of stuff in there, like energy presets. There's electric stuff. Arc reactor if you want to do some energy things, and you wanna maybe emulate fire. There's this little preset. There's a whole lot of stuff in there. There's soft smoke, kryptonite. I dig that for no reason. There's wind stuff in there. Maybe if you want to create some Harry Potter effects, there's I don't know, Patronus, Hocus Patronus, things like that. So anyway, so this is basically what the idea of Saber is to help you create or to kind of emulate energy visuals within After Effects. So it's a plugin built specifically for that. You can create neon lights with it. You can create energy like beams, like I said earlier, or create like some lightsabers digitally, and kind of like integrate them with real footage or things like that. So yeah, so I'm just going to get rid of this now that we've gone like through an overview of what Saber is. So let's see how we can use it in a project, especially for motion designers. We don't usually get to work with a lot of footage. So how can we use Saber in our projects? So I'm going to show you like one way of how you can use it to kind of integrate it with text or with logos. So essentially it's the same technique, just executed differently, whether you're using it with a logo or whether you're using it with text. So for today, I'm going to use it with text, and then I'm going to type out my text and call it light, because that's what Saber is. It's light. My anchor point is a little off center at the moment, so I'm just going to click on the anchor point tool, and then I'm going to press down Command and then drag my anchor point to the middle, and then it's just going to snap into the center of my text layer. So for Command, I think the Windows guys use Control, but essentially they kind of do the same thing, Command and Control. And then I'm going to look for my alignment tools, kind of like center that a bit and put it at the center of my composition. So cool. So now I have my text. All I have to do is to create a new solid layer and call that Saber. Yeah. And then cool. So I'm gonna go out under effects one more time, video Copilot, Saber. Boom, there it is. And now I have my text layer, and then I have my Saber layer. So how do I get these two to work together? If you look on your Saber tool under the options, you'll see that there's a customize core option. So if I click under that, click on Saber, click on text layer, and then under text layer, I choose light. So this is the text layer that I'm using in my composition. At the moment, it's the layer number 2. So I'm going to click on that. And then right off the bat, you can see that my text layer is kind of appearing through the Saber plugin. But at the moment, it's a bit too bright. So I'm gonna kind of like take the intensity down a bit and say maybe to 20. Cool. So that already looks good. And then I'm gonna go under the presets drop down menu. And then for probably the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to choose Arc Reactor. So the cool thing about Saber is that the animation is already done for you. So you don't have to animate anything. You don't have to like animate anything right off the bat. You can see how the animation works with your layers, with your text layers or with your logo. So I kind of like how that is looking. So a lot of people usually, this is where they leave it. And I looked around on YouTube a lot, and I feel like there were some options with the Saber plugin that are not kind of explored, or maybe not explored enough rather. And I feel like there should be some light shed into those options so that we can kind of maximize our experience with the Saber plugin. Cool. So how do we take it further from here, right? So if you look on your customized core, you've got like some options on there: start size, start offset, you got end size, end offset. There's a whole bunch of options in there, and it can get confusing on what each does. So the ones that we're gonna kind of like focus on for the purpose of this tutorial is the start size, the start offset, the end size, and the end offset. So what that does, right, and this is my own silly description of it so that I can kind of understand how the Saber plugin works. So what that does, if I take down my start size, for example, to 0, you'll see that there's some kind of dynamic look that kind of that is created on our text layer. So that kind of creates like some highlights, and it kind of like other parts of the text layer are not as bright as other parts of the text layer, which kind of creates like a really cool look to our plugin, and the cool thing is that we can always preview that the animation has already been done for us. So all we have to do kind of is just to mess around with the look to see what we want to end up with. So I'm kind of digging this, and I want to show you another way how we can kind of like push this effect a little bit further. So if you scroll all the way down, under render settings, there's this option here called alpha mode. So if you look that at the moment, it's on disable. So what this does, right, and this is the option that I feel like hasn't been explored quite enough by a lot of Saber users. A lot of like the Saber plugin videos that I've seen online kind of look the same, and even when they get to this part, it's still not looking like it looks good, but it's a bit too fluffy in my opinion. There's still not a bit that was done to kind of push the effect a bit further and kind of like create like a distinctive look or a unique look from all the other Saber videos that are present online. So this is what's going to help you to create your own distinctive look. So if you look under this drop down menu, there's mask glow, there's mask core, and there's enable masks. So what these does, and we're gonna go through each of them so you can see what each does. So mask glow, what it does is exactly what it says, mask glow. So it's gonna mask the glow of the Saber, and it kind of like creates like a housing effect for the Saber plugin. And you can still see the energy going over the edges of the text, but the whole point of it is to mask the glow so that it's not as intense as maybe you would want, or for the purposes of serving your projects, maybe you don't want to show the glow for some reason. Mask core preserves the glow, and then it gets rid of the inside of the so it's kind of like an inversion of what happens with mask glow, right? So mask core creates the edge, the Saber plugin on the edges of the text, and enable masks, which is my favorite one at the moment, kind of masks the whole effect altogether. So the glow and the animation kind of happens inside of the text that we have, right? So with this one, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna increase the opacity a little, the intensity a little bit, maybe to like 60%. Yeah, so this is the one that we're gonna go with. It's kind of my favorite one at the moment, and yeah, and also this is not a democracy, and because what I say goes, like Sonic. Bad joke again, sorry. So yeah, so this is kind of this is already looking good. This is a bit of a distinctive look, I think, in my opinion, and it's already looks different to what's already out there. That's already out there in online. So for me to animate, so I'm gonna try and animate the position of these highlights, right? So the one way to do that is to go back to your customize core options, and you will see that there's start offset. So what start offset does, and if you click on it and create a keyframe on it, this is where I want my animation to end. So I'm gonna drag that keyframe to 1 second, and then I'm gonna offset my my look to 100%. So everything should disappear, because it means there's 100% offset, meaning what you see at 1 second has disappeared at 0 seconds or at 0 frames. So if you kind of preview that, you'll see that there's this kind of like text illustrating on, or energy kind of like going over your text, and it's revealing your text layer, which is kind of cool. I'm digging that already. So that's already something to work with in Saber. And by the way, I haven't seen a lot of stuff done like this, so this is kind of something unique, I think, that you can create on your own. So yeah, so let's keep pushing this further. So let's say maybe we need to create like some complementary colors. Maybe how blue always works with orange or red. And yeah, so let's try and emulate that a bit. So I'm gonna go into my Saber plugin, my Saber layer, sorry, and then duplicate that. So for that, I'm just gonna say Command D, and that will be Control D for the Windows folk, right? And then so as soon as I've done that, I'm gonna change the color, as we discussed, to something like that. Red already looks good, so I'm gonna go with that. Also because this is not a democracy, we only do what I want. Cool. So, but the problem is now that animation is kind of happening at the same time as the blue animation under the new Saber layer. So, but I want to see it come through with the other text. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the blending mode and set that to screen. If you're familiar with Photoshop, then you're probably familiar with blending modes. So what they do is allow the layer under to kind of see through the layer on top, right? So yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. And then but my animation is still kind of happening at the same time, and it's messing up my colors, which I don't want, because red and blue kind of create a different color that I don't want to see on my composition. So one way for me to do that is to go to my start size for the new top plugin and set that to 100, and then go to my end size and set that to 0. So it's kind of like an inversion of what we did on the bottom layer. So now if I go to 0 frames and I play that back, it's gonna seem like the red and the blue are kind of working together to kind of create this awesome look. So where the blue highlights are, the red is not present, but where the red highlights are, that's where the blue is less visible. So I'm kind of digging this and how it's working. And yeah, this is looking really good. I'm digging this, man. And I'm wondering what would happen if we try and animate the text, right? When the Saber plugin kind of animates on. So let's try that. Let's see what's gonna happen. Yeah, let's see what's gonna happen. So let's go into our text layer. So I'm gonna isolate this text layer, right? So that I can see nothing else on my composition except the text layer that I've highlighted. And you can use this little isolation box here. Just click on that box and then it will only reveal the layer that you want to work with. All right. So for the purposes of this task, I'm gonna isolate the text layer, and then I'm gonna go under my text, and I'm gonna try to add an animation on my text. Let's go with tracking, right? Okay, yeah, let's go with tracking for now. And then for me to kind of add like some tracking movements between my letters, I need to add a line anchor. So what a line anchor does is that it allows everything to kind of track from the middle. Okay, so at the end of my composition, I want everything to kind of be spaced out like this, maybe say 60, just to round it off a bit, and then create a keyframe. And then I'm gonna go back in time and I'm gonna squeeze that in a little bit to 40. So that might be too much, but I think it's good, hopefully. And then yeah, I'm just gonna ease in those, and then I'm gonna go into my graph editor and kind of mess with the speed a little bit. So yeah, I'm just gonna squeeze those two guys in. Oops, something went wrong there. Okay, I'm just gonna squeeze those two guys in like so. So what this means, right, is that the animation is gonna go like this. So it's gonna go slowly, and then by the time it gets into the middle of 0 and 1 second, it's gonna go fast, and then it's gonna go slowly again towards the end of the animation. That's what this graph does. It's the speed editor graph. And then I'm gonna go back into my timeline, and maybe I can animate the scale as well. So maybe 100% to end with, and then kind of that 60%, maybe 55%, just to round it off. Okay, I hope it's not too fast. And then I'm gonna also easy ease that. And then I'm gonna go into my graph editor once again, and then I'm gonna, let's make this start off fast and then slow down towards the end, like so. Cool. So let's just have a preview of what our animation is gonna look like. So yeah, that's looking pretty sweet. And I'm wondering if it's gonna work with our Saber plugin. Hopefully, crossed fingers. Woo, looks like it's working. So there we go. So we've created like our own distinctive look. So this is something we own. Yeah, stuff like this hasn't been done a lot. But yeah, I'm really digging this, how it turned out. So this looks really good. So let's see how the whole animation works from the beginning. Nice. Sweet. So yeah, so that's basically what this video was about. And you know, another cool thing you can do, right, with your Saber plugin is that you can create an adjustment layer just to kind of give like the whole thing a bit of a feel. You can go into your effects section right here in After Effects, and then just type glow, and we'll go with stylized glow, right, which is the default glow in After Effects. So it doesn't really change it by much, but it does kind of like make a bit of a difference, I think. And you can always change the colors, and let's go with the colors that we have in the composition, and red, boom, right? And let's see how that changes our animation. Sweet. So the highlights are a bit intense now because of the glow, but if that's what you want to do, then you go with that, and if not, then you don't, right? So that part of the process is a democracy, so you can kind of decide what you want to go with. Cool. So I'm kind of digging this, and I want to see if the other colors would kind of be in harmony as well. Like, say for example, I wanted to change this to like green, and maybe change this to like a purplish, pinkish, like that, and this is basically to show you that you can make changes to your animation at any point of the process, and you won't have to recreate anything from scratch. The animation is already done at this point, and we didn't even spend that much time creating this. Like, this whole animation is done with 8 keyframes, and remember, 2 of those two of those we didn't actually have to create because it was a duplication of one of the layers. So this whole animation is done with 6 keyframes. So you get like really interesting looks, really unique looks of your own, and you don't even have to spend that much time in the tool or in the program. This is very time saving, I think. And big ups to the guys at Video Copilot for creating this plugin. I think like a lot of motion designers have saved a lot of time on this, but got out with like some very distinctive looks and some very cool projects out of the Saber plugin. So yeah, man, so I'm kind of digging this. So even if like you have like like maybe you show this to your boss and they're like, no, we want everything to be gold, we want the exact same thing but just in a different color, you don't even have to struggle through that. All you have to do basically is just tweak things and just the colors basically, and then go like boom, and then you can just send that again, and then like, oh cool, that was fast, you're so quick. You're like, yeah, but you know that you didn't spend a lot of time in the program because the kind of scenes were already kind of like prepped for you already, and all you had to do was to focus on what you wanted to get out of the project. So yeah, man, so this is kind of what I wanted to explore, especially these little options here. So yeah, so these little options are exactly what I wanted to kind of explore with you guys and let you know that there are some really limitless possibilities out there of what you can create with Saber, and just like kind of break from what's already out there and what's already kind of like being created. And yeah, so there's opportunity to be unique and to create your own looks with the same tool, but to be distinctive in your own choice, I think. So yeah, basically that's what I wanted to show. And there are obviously like another way we can kind of use the Saber plugin and integrate it with 3D objects. So I can make a part 2 of this tutorial, and we can explore how Saber works with 3D assets and stuff, and how we can integrate like some 3D elements into Saber plugin and kind of like get that out of the way. So yeah, let me know if you guys, I just don't want to include it in this video because I feel like I'll be kind of like bombarding way too much information, and I felt like I wanted to focus on the introduction to the plugin and kind of the overview of what the possibilities are with it. So there is definitely room to explore like a 3D pipeline and how you can use Saber plugin with 3D. So this is a bit more advanced, if I can say that, because it's not as simple as just creating Saber and then putting it behind a text or putting it behind a logo or something like that. There's still like a little bit of like 3D that you need to have knowledge of. But yeah, let me know if you guys want like a part 2 of this video. I can make it and we can go through the kind of 3D process of Saber and Element 3D and how the two kind of like work together, and how you can create like distinctive looks as well with Element 3D and with something like Saber. And that is it. That is a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. If you learned anything new, do consider liking and subscribing for more future content, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.